Wow. Work permits for family members. I'll be honest, I have not seen this coming. I have not in any way seen this coming. Minister Fraser, you have outdone yourself. Work permits for family members. This is something we've been asking for years. When I started my practice, there was the ability for dependent children who are accompanying a parent on a skilled work permit to get a work permit. Well, it's coming back. And what's driving the ship? The same environment that existed when I started my practice back in the early 2000s. Labor shortages, a critical situation where there are just so many companies who can't find people to work. So what do? You open up the world of work permits to family that are accompanying a principal applicant. Now, here's the kicker with this news, you guys. This is the most amazing part of it, is that there's discussions to push this downward into territory that has never been extended. And that is for individuals working on low skill work permits. Now, yes, with provincial nominees and other permanent resident driven processes, there are possibilities for accompanying family members to get work permits, spouses in particular, but this has all changed. So what are we talking about? Let's slide over here and take a look at the actual announcement just released. Thanks to Anna Kranacheva, one of our CBA colleagues who alerted me to this. This is IRCC, right? Friday. They love to do this. I don't know if they just don't like anyone, asking questions, but this is absolutely crazy. So when you're going through this process right here, you can see, and the link's in the description, and you guys have any questions, start firing them away. I'm completely open to any questions you have, but let's look at this together. So they always address it under the guise of employers, which of course, this is to meet labor shortages. And in fairness, let me flip back here. In fairness, we've been meeting with one of our clients that is looking to do thousands of work permits. So the labor market is shifting. It is changing, and more so than we've seen in probably almost 20 years. And I started back in 2003. Well, 2002, I was on the border. The labor shortages are a reality. Those of you who are outside of Canada, the opportunities to come and work in Canada, get that experience, will never be greater than they will in the coming months and years. So back to the discussion here, you can see employers and temporary workers both to benefit from family work permits to address labor shortages. That's what's driving this ship. Now let's make this a little bit bigger here so everybody can see it more clearly. So you can see the pace of Canada's economy has made it hard for employers, including those in the tourism industry. That's where they're driving this, to find the workers they need. So if you come out here to Alberta, you come to one of our national parks, Banff in particular, they are struggling like you could never imagine to get workers to fill all of the occupations within the hospitality and tourism industry. And so this has been an issue for even before the current situation, but now it's become extremely acute. I used to do work permits for hotels and motels who couldn't find room attendants to take, and cleaners and janitors. That's all coming back, you guys, because the Canadians and permanent residents filter up to the higher paying jobs, and it opens up the low wage, low skill opportunities for foreign workers to come. And not only that, no longer will you have to leave your spouse necessarily behind. And workers that are here as skilled workers, your kids who are wondering what they're going to do in the summers, between semesters, before they start school, this is another huge economic advantage to family members of skilled workers. So sliding back here, let's take a look some more. So Minister Fraser, yes, this character right here, you have done something that we have not seen since maybe, was it Scrow? Was it, Judy Scrow? I'm trying to remember how many ministers back we did have a work permit similar to this. Who's being left out? We'll get to that after we get through who's in. So looking at this again, as we scroll down, Minister Fraser, he announces that Canada is to extend work permits to family members of temporary foreign workers. Now, it's going to phase in. It's not going to happen all in one shot. But you can see here that it's to include family members accompanying the principal applicant to Canada. And the hope, obviously, is to help address these critical skill shortages in a very, very quick period of time without need to go through all the hassle of LMIAs for employers. Okay. And once again, why? To assist employers in finding the workers that they need. Now, prior to this announcement, the world was simply this. If you were a skilled worker, then yes, your spouse, and that was an old NOC B or higher, now it's tier 3 or higher, you could get an open work permit for your spouse to come and work while you were working in Canada. Same thing went for international students. But right now, the issue is that, well, basically that was it. So if you were a low skilled worker, you couldn't bring your family. And if you did, they had to sit here and twiddle their thumbs on visitor records. But you can see this is a temporary measure. Okay. So they talk about only for skilled, but this is a temporary measure that aims to improve, well, emotional, physical, financial. It's really this as much as anything, financial, by keeping families together. Well, it's about time, because one of the pillars of the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act is the reunification of families. And the old rules for low skill workers really prejudiced them. They separated families. Horrible. So as a result, it is expected that the worker will better integrate into the overall work environment in the community. Well, no duh, right? And I'll let you in on something else. Lots of you have watched the video that I did a while back on the TR to PR kind of transitions and what the minister's planning to do. And when I said it's not all fluff, remember, he is pushing and doing everything he can to encourage people to go and live in rural communities, expand outside of the major centers, both students, both foreign workers, and now families. Heck, what purpose does it serve if you as an individual are going and working in a low wage position, low skill under the IRCC programs, and your spouse can't get a job working at the local hardware store in the small community because it's only available for skilled workers? Well, this is going to have a significant impact on the ability of communities all across Canada, whether they're a part of the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot or here in Alberta, our homegrown rural renewal stream. You're going to be much more able to attract families to come because everybody can get jobs, even working age kids, which we don't have specific details. Working age in Alberta, there was a time where kids that were 16 and older could get it, you know, and then in other provinces, it was 18. So we don't know what working age means. Personally, if they're opening it up to international students to work full time, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 16 years and up. More details will come. Let's take a look here and let's keep zipping through here. So you can see, starting January 2023, it's not immediate. And then they're looking at a temporary 2-year measure. We'll see how this plays out. Canada will expand eligibility to work in Canada to spouses and working age kids. Like I said, it doesn't stipulate anywhere here what that means, but it could very well be 16. Why didn't they say adult dependents, right? Working age could very well be 16 years of age or older. I guess they could go younger, but that would be kind of crazy, but who knows? What are they doing? They're doing everything they can to open up the workforce to our economy that is desperately seeking to get the labor it needs to expand. These are good times. Okay. And you can see it's going to be a phased approach for workers at all skill levels, which I just finished talking about. So you can see this includes, and I don't even know why they say including here because it touches on everyone, families working in healthcare, trades, and hospitality, for example. And then as a result, they're hoping that these family members of more than 200,000 current foreign workers could begin working in Canada, offering, of course, greater opportunity for both foreign workers seeking to work in Canada and for employers addressing labor needs. Once again, it's much more enticing for someone to come work in Canada if their family can come work as well. And those of you who are getting your work permits refused from abroad because you're trying to include a spouse that's a visitor, I'll tell you, our firm is open for judicial reviews if we're starting to get refusals from the visa offices when you're applying for work permits for low skill as well as dependent family members. This is designed to encourage labor, and I'll tell you, it's going to be pretty hard for a DOJ lawyer to refuse to consent on a JR for a work permit that's refused because the whole family's coming. This is the change that we're going to be seeing. All right, look at this here, the 3-phased approach. So we don't have specific timelines here, but we know phase 1 will enable family members of workers coming to Canada through the high wage streams of the Temporary Foreign Worker Program or the IMP to apply for an open work permit. So phase 1 extends this, okay, to when spouses are already there. So this is talking about the kids, all right? Then phase 2, which we don't know exactly when that's going to be released, aims to expand the measure to family members for low wage stream. So what are the wages? When you go to ESDC, let's go right here and I'll show you what I mean by this. Temp Foreign Worker Program, high wage levels. Okay, let's see if we can find it right here. Why not, right? Okay, so if we look here and we scroll down, let's see if we can find the actual tables. This is the difference between high wage and low wage. So in Alberta, as of April the 30th, okay, of 2022, our high wage cutoff is $28.85. So going through the process here, there's different rules for high wage and low wage when it comes to getting labor market impact assessments. And I find it very curious that they are referring to low wage stream of temporary foreign worker program. Well, technically, the low wage stream, anything under $28.85, could still be tier 3. So, or the old knock B. Well, you could have someone that, that is making more than $28.85, but very rarely would it be a tier 4 or tier 5, but it is possible. So it'll be interesting to see if the cutoff is a wage level with the temporary foreign worker program, or whether it is actually the cutoff between skilled and low skill, at least when it comes to the rollout of this process for family members. But the most important thing here, you guys, is that when it goes down into low wage, whether it's low skill or low wage, whatever they want to call it, I think it's more of a, when I think about them calling it low wage, it's just not as politically correct to call it low skill, as if somehow these people are lesser, right? So I think that's why they're using this terminology. But phase 2 opens it up for people, and we don't know if they're somehow restricting it per se to a trade, a particular industry, I should say. I suspect that it's going to be pretty open, where family members are also able to get those open work permits. What a blessing. How many families do you know out there where one spouse is working in a low wage position, or heaven forbid, the nightmare of you as an international student applying for a postgrad work permit, not yet having a job, and your spouse who is currently working on your C42 work permit, that because you were studying in Canada, they were able to work wherever they wanted. How many families had to stop working until you could get that skilled job to then go and request their C41 work permit, right? Like, this is such a crazy, crazy world. Now this is going to remove that, because when you apply for your postgrad work permit, if you're here in Canada and this works and they decide to keep it around for, this temporary 2-year measure, the hugest benefit I see is for you postgrads who have not yet found a skilled position. Well, your spouse will be able to keep working under implied status when you submit your postgrad. And that's you transition from your study permit to your postgrad. That's one of the huge, huge benefits here. Phase 3 will include consultation with ag partners and stakeholders to assess operational feasibility for expanding the measure to family members of ag workers. Why is this a big deal? Ag workers are seasonal. They're not here throughout the whole year. So do they want to open it up so even spouses can come work on the farms or somewhere else while the principal applicant is working on the farms? Maybe. But this is great news for employers. And what do? Well, come and within our firm right here, all you have to do is book a consultation, and we can navigate this. If you're an employer, if you're an individual wondering what this means for you, this is a huge, huge benefit. This is a huge development, you guys. Really, really huge. All right. So as we zip through here, once again, this is all a part of Canada's attempt to address labor shortages, and the government will continue to implement, where they're not done, policies aimed at helping employers with their staffing needs across all skill levels. And like I said earlier, we're working with one company, large company, who is looking at massive, massive recruiting campaigns. And the beginning, well, we're just at the beginning. All right, let's see what questions we have. If you have questions, now's the time to post them. If you're wondering about links, all you have to do is, this is the link to the announcement itself. Unlike, well, you can go into if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, these links will be available. And this is right from the source. Unlike some other channels that they just spin you through their own website, we actually show you the source. Okay, zipping through here. So Lovely Life says, how can I get assistance filing for a visiting visa? Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do here is, if you need assistance, is go here, and I type in Holthe Immigration Law right here. You can see at the top. And when I click on it, it takes me right here Yes, I'm proud to see that we have a 4.9% rating. Go to our firm website. There's links below as well. And all you have to do is click speak to a lawyer and we can help you and we can walk you through that process. All right, let's jump back here. Other questions that we have. Okay, Monsoon says, hey, Mark, is this of any benefit to one with PR? Can their family members get work permit? Thank you. I'm gonna turn on my applause right here. Who is missing? Okay, who is missing from this announcement? Who? What about the spouse of a Canadian citizen? What about the spouse of a permanent resident? Why can they not apply for a work permit right off the bat? Why are they any less important than the spouse of a foreign worker? Why? That's the question we've always been asking. Yes, if you file a permanent resident application, yes, once they receive it, if you're a spouse common law partner, they will, in Canada, if you're in that class, they'll issue you a work permit. But why in the world, with a returning Canadian citizen who's maybe been working for a large company abroad, is transferred back to Canada, and because their spouse is not, a permanent resident when they come, they have to be sponsored, they can't go back to work immediately. It just doesn't make any sense. So that's one thing that I want to point out to this fine fellow here, Minister Fraser. I would love for you to do that, to expand this to include spouses of Canadian citizens and permanent residents. But right now, as you've pointed out, Monsoon, no, indeed, their family cannot, subject to the benefits that flow from having a permanent resident application in the queue. Great question. I will applaud you once again. Okay, Rashid says, can citizens of Australia work in Canada without a work permit, or they need to apply for a work permit? Is there any special treatment for them? Well, we have international, under the international experience class for international students and young people, we have agreements with Australia. We have other treaties that sometimes kick in, but no, there's no ability to just come and work without a work permit. That's a requirement. Okay. All right, let's focus. Okay. Let's see here. Lovely Life says, someone give me some advice doing a deemed rehabilitation. Okay, so that's out there, but a deemed rehabilitation is just that. It's deemed by operation of law. Okay, Monsoon says, can this policy be used for brother, sister, mother, and father? Thanks. We do not know yet, but I suspect family members will not include brothers and sisters and not include mothers and fathers from that standpoint, parents and grandparents of the principal applicant. Typically what we see is dependent children and spouses. But if someone has other news or they have other things to report, I'm all ears to see if there's something new, because all we have to operate on, if we slide back here, is the actual statements that were made by the minister here literally minutes ago. Of course, on a Friday when everybody's shut down. Okay, but not me, apparently. I'm on here sharing insight. Okay, next question. We'll try to get ones that are focused specifically on the topic. Okay, Mohammed says, sir, me and my wife, we are only 2 people. We don't have kids. Can you submit our application on your own, as we are not experts in this work? You will be paid after our work is done. Okay. If anybody wants to retain our firm, all you have to do is click on this link, speak to a lawyer. It's super easy. Click down, find the lawyer you want, click on their availability. And if you see here for me, I am headed to Nashville. So next week I have a meetings down in Nashville, and I am really, really looking forward to getting to a little bit warmer climates over there in Tennessee. And so I'm going to be I won't be available until the 13th. So, and what's happening on the 12th to the 13th? That is the masterclass for the study permit course, which is a whole different discussion. Okay, so there we go. And Mohammed, no, I don't work on a pay after the work is done basis, my friend. Okay, yes. So Pavneet, what is the definition of family members here? Except spouse. It includes spouse, and I have to assume absolutely working age children, like they identified. They didn't say siblings. They didn't say uncle, aunt, cousin, parent. It didn't say grandparent. I suspect it is spouses and working age children. Nope. And I can see Romero's asking the same thing, siblings. Okay, and keep these focused, you guys, on the topic at hand right here, which is, if you're just tuning in, this is breaking news. Family members of principal applicants who are working in Canada will have opportunities to get work permits to help fill critical labor shortages. What's the benefit for employers? You employers out there, more people on open work permits that you can avoid the nightmare of the foreign worker program. Well, the reality is some are just still not going to be able to do that, because this is only if the principal applicant is holding a work permit. And if they're here, those who need to source people that are not already here are going to have to go through the labor market impact assessment process. And that's something that we absolutely do within our firm. All right, let's keep zipping through here and see what else we have for questions. Let's see. Okay, so Effie says, yep, new announcements every day with zero information on how to deal with backlog. 17 months and still waiting for passport request. Really, really unfortunate. Do you know who you guys can talk to? Right here. Talk to this guy, talk to the Liberal government, and they're the ones making these decisions, including the backlogs and the delays. So talk to them, okay? All right, zipping through. Nagar says, this news only for low wage or high wages are included too? Of course, high wages, they're already included, except the difference is it's only spouses. This is going to open it up, like we talked about, to family members of skilled workers, family members of both skilled and, well, it says low wage, but we'll assume all work permits. There may be some industry, restrictions on it. I don't know. We'll see in phase 2. That maybe they will just open it up to certain industries for low skill or low wage, but we'll just have to see how that plays out. And then 3, they're exploring the possibility within the seasonal agricultural worker program. So we'll see how those play out. Okay, let's see who's next. Yes, and Monsoon says the same. Can my sister be one of my dependents? I'm a PR. My sister's under 18. Thanks, Mark. No, right now it does not look to extend. And why is it not extending to citizens and permanent residents? We'll just have to leave it at that. George, one of the alumni of the Canadian Immigration Institute. It is great to see you, my friend. How are things going? Thanks for connecting in. I love when past graduates of the Canadian Immigration Institute come joining. So what is this new thing I missed? The beginning? Well, George, if you haven't seen it yet, it's this right here. Foreign workers who are working in Canada, their family can get work permits to address labor shortages. And children, working age children, traditionally haven't been able to. And also spouses of low skill, the old NOC C and D, tier 4 and 5, traditionally spouses weren't able to get work permits. And that is changing. So that is the breaking news, my friend. Okay. All right, Edgar says, my wife's work permit extension was refused because we didn't submit proof I'm in a skilled... Exactly. In a skilled profession. We reapplied the same day as she had status until that day. She needs to apply to restore her status. Edgar, it comes down to this. I ring the triangle and then I say, dude, that is one complicated situation. Come here, click on speak to a lawyer. The link's below and we can talk about your situation. Okay, let's zip down here. Simmer says, will this be limited to specific occupations or families of all workers will be eligible? I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that skilled workers, their spouses, and their working age dependent children, there should be no restrictions. That's open to those dependent working age children. When it comes to the second phase with the low wage or low skill, there was a hint in there that they may potentially limit it to certain types of industries. Why would they specifically target out right here? Why would they specifically target that for the rollout of phase 2, they aim to expand from low wage streams of temporary foreign worker program following consultations? So why would they have consultations unless they were going to have some restriction to the low wage, candidates who potentially are in specific industries, such as ones they mentioned here, healthcare, trades, and hospitality. And they say, for example, so why would they even mention those unless they had an intention to maybe not open up phase 2 completely? We will see. Great question. Thanks, Simmer. All right. Okay, Amara says, hey, Mark, if one has a current active visitor visa to join the spouse, should it cancel it to wait for this new stream.com update? No, don't cancel anything. Keep things open. We don't know how this is going to apply. Don't go out and start canceling anything. George says, always a wonderful reaction from you. I'm good. Hope you're doing fantastic. Best lawyer in Canada ever. George, you're awesome. Thanks, my friend. Okay. Unique says, when is the next Express Entry Masterclass holding? Okay, guys, those who are wondering what the heck we're talking about here, you can slide over. If you're unfamiliar with this, I have the Canadian Immigration Institute, and in here I have a series of courses. One of them that's coming up, the Masterclass December 12th, is the study permit course. You can register right now. Oh, Igor hasn't changed this. Oh, Igor, if you're watching, man, we have to update this because this is supposed to come to an end December the 1st. Is this still live? Oh, what's going on here? Nope, it's changed. Okay, so we need to update that. So this code no longer applies because that early bird registration ended on December the 1st, but the masterclass will start December 12th to the 16th. The course material will be released for the study permit course in the coming week here. So I'm just working on that. Spousal sponsorship course, you can go in and access the materials right now. The masterclass will be announced, and this is what they were referring to: Express Entry course and masterclass. You can go right in right now and access, and you can purchase the course materials and go through the over 10 hours of material for Express Entry. And then we will be announcing masterclasses coming up. Lots of cool things coming up. So there you go. A quick little address to that, Unique. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh, we've got quite a few messages here. Okay. Hey, Peters. Good to see you. Good news. I dropped from NOC B to Tier 4. I'm lucky. I guess my wife will get her work permit. Regards, Mike. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is good news. We'll see how it plays out if your industry falls within for the Tier 4s. We'll see. Okay, let's see who's next here. And I'm just focusing, guys, on the comments related to this topic. Yep, and I'm absolutely here with you, Jagnor. Why these guys only see labor shortages, new announcements to cater labor shortage. What about backlogs of work permits and PRs? Once again, this is who you talk to. Minister Fraser with the Liberal government. Reach out to them and lobby them, because I don't know. I know that millions of my tax dollars have been, no, I haven't been paying millions of tax dollars, but I'll be honest, it feels like that. Millions of Canadian taxpayer dollars have been used to hire new officers, to help with processing. I'm waiting to see the results. Obviously, announcements like this, if there's work permit backlogs all over the world, well, what is Minister Fraser and his department doing about it? I don't know. I know they're working on it. I know there's logistical issues that are sometimes not easy to relay. I know genuinely Minister Fraser wants to see all of these processing times come down, and they're actively doing what they can to do it. But let's face it, it takes time to train and hire officers. And when I have companies that are looking for thousands of workers and they're offering to pay $33, $34 an hour to do that, to work in those occupations, it's no wonder that, lower paying wages like immigration officers, when they're retained, when they're hired, it's not as easy to attract intake people. So I hear you, Jagnor. I'm with you. Junsky, hey, just finished the Express Entry class. Thanks so much for joining, Junsky. Hello, Mark. Seems to be I'm late. Hello, everyone. Never hesitate to purchase a course. For sure you won't regret it. Thanks, Junsky. Junsky just came out of this one, and he was awesome. Just fantastic member of the group. Lots of great questions, and the masterclass was really fun. So thanks, Junsky. Great to have you here. Okay, let's see who else. Okay, Unique says, I just finished my grad diploma program, which lasted 16 months. Do I have a chance of getting 2-year postgrad work permit? Was it a 2-year program? Sometimes they're accelerated. Sometimes you get them completed quicker. So was it a 2-year program? If the program was 2 years, then yes, you have a very good chance. Okay, Negar says, please answer my question at the end if you've got time. Negar, I think your question, did I skip past it because it wasn't related? Okay, is this news only for low wage or high wages are included too? So I did answer that one already, Negar. The reality is this high wage are already a part of it. And so what this is doing is expanding to working age children for the high wage or the high skill. And then for the low wage, they're expanding the same benefits to them and potentially even the seasonal agricultural worker program. Okay, we're just about finished, just about going to wrap it up. Any last minute questions, post them quick because I'm going to wrap this up. It's a Friday. I've got family waiting for me and I just dropped everything because of this announcement. Those of you who are coming late, this is what we're talking about here. You can see December the 2nd today, just literally minutes ago, Minister Fraser announces that employers and temporary workers to benefit from family work permits. Okay. That's what we're talking about here. What are the 3 levels? First, to enable the kids of skilled workers to work with their mother or father who is the accompanying spouse. And phase 2 is to lower that for family members of low wage stream, which this is really weird. Like, I'm surprised why they don't call it low skill tier. Well, I guess they're moving away from that, but potentially to tier 4 and 5. And then phase 3, consider even seasonal types of work permits. That's what they're looking at expanding to. When will it start? Well, starting January 2023. And I shouldn't say here, did I put January 1st? I can't remember in my breaking ticker here if I put January 1st, because in fairness, there's no guarantee that it's going to, oh, I did put that. Okay, ignore the ticker that says January 1st. Maybe it will be January the 1st, but you guys know how this rolls. Typically, Minister Fraser says it's coming in the spring or the summer. Well, if he goes over here and he says that it's coming starting January, I should not assume that it's January the 1st. But hey, this is how we roll. Needless to say, Minister, this was a good announcement, so kudos to you. All right, let's see what else we have here in our group. Okay, and remember the questions are, I want them focused on the topic at hand. Okay, Janet says, this is fantastic news. Do you think it'll apply to adult children of postgrad work permit holders? It's entirely possible, right? It's entirely possible. Now remember, dependents kind of get cut off at 22. So if we follow the traditional rules of dependency, a child that reaches the age of 22 potentially may not fit within those parameters. But we have to wait for the program delivery instructions. And once again, our dear minister loves to do a big flash, and then the details come after. But when the details happen, just watch the channel, watch the Twitter feed, watch social media, because we will be announcing it at every moment. Okay, Simmer says, do you really pay millions of dollars in tax? I wish I did. I wish I paid millions of dollars in tax. No, I am not some rich corporate lawyer. No, I'm an immigration lawyer who earns some of the lowest levels of income amongst lawyers across Canada. Wish there were stats on it. Man, could you imagine if you were someone who paid millions in dollars of tax? Oh, the things that I could do. Well, if the Canadian Immigration Institute really takes off and everybody realizes how awesome the courses are, and everybody comes in here and subscribes and joins me in my master classes and takes the courses on spousal sponsorship, and every single person that comes through who studies in Canada doesn't do it until they've taken this course and educated themselves and learned what they needed to do. Well, until that happens, nope, I probably won't be paying millions of dollars in tax. That would be crazy. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay, and remember, I'm only focusing on the actual topic here at hand. What's the topic? It's right here, you guys. That there's this breaking news that just came out on a Friday evening: family work permits to address labor shortages, and it's fantastic news. It really is. At least I put here starting in January 2023 on the main subheading there. Okay, let's see what else we've got going here. Up and comer. Next comment. Okay. IRB Fox. Guys, book the course with Mark. He breaks it down thoroughly and is very non-judgmental. Take advantage of the masterclass. Watch the videos 5 times if you need to. You will succeed. Thank you so much. I love when you guys come back. I absolutely love when you do. This stuff is available for life when you purchase it. And those who actually subscribe to the course in the early days, I made the decision to grandfather and bring all of them into the new course. So if you haven't received that email and you're someone who subscribed to the course years ago when I launched it in its original kind of version, you should have received an email inviting you to get access to it. All right, let's see. Okay, Casey says, will you still provide a single mature woman work permit without family? Okay, well, I'm not providing these work permits, Casey. If you have an employer who's willing to hire you, they don't prejudice whether you're single, mature, or whether you're with family or without family. All right. Janet, you're very welcome. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Okay, let's see what else we have. And Igor, Mark is great. Working hours past the time he wanted to leave this office. Yeah, Igor and I were just talking and I said, okay, I'm out of here. And then like 10 minutes later, thanks to Anna Karenacheva, an awesome immigration lawyer in Edmonton, she posted it, and the rest is history. So great, great, great. All right. And Igor, you're still here. What are you doing? Go out and spend time with your wife. All right, guys, let's wrap this critter up, okay? Simmer says, I'm an RCIC and want to pay that tax, but no success. But hopefully someday. Have a happy weekend. Thanks for helpful info. You're very welcome, Simmer. I think we're all hoping that that can happen. Okay, and then the last comment here. Oh, he says, I'm not just saying it. I took it and I had a consult. I'm confident that you two will not be disappointed. Bree from Hallie. Yes, Bree, thank you so much. Okay, it wasn't meant to be a promotional video, but wow, great news for you. So much more to talk about. And yeah, I'm really, really excited. Really, really, really excited about these developments. Okay, and Jagnur says, come on, turn the radio on. It's Friday night and Mark won't be long here. That's true. It's time to shut her down, and we'll wrap up with Igor. He said, I just brought Ocean back from the dog park. He's now tired, and I have another 20 minutes before he wants to play again. That is Ocean, isn't it? That is Ocean. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Like I said, more information will come about this great breaking news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.